So I went to church on Sunday, and after much begging and pleading, my husband came with me. So we had all of us there. Me and my husband and our kids were all there at church. Started off great, ended not so well. When my husband and I were first married, we started looking around for a church, and we didn't belong to any one particular church. We were both brought up in Baptist churches, but we were kind of keeping an open mind, looking around for a church. So, anyway, over the period of like a month and a half, we go to like six different churches. Every Sunday, we go like to a different church. Lo and behold, every single week that we went and tried a different church, every single week for like 6 weeks in a row, I'm not kidding. It was just really bizarre coincidence. Every church we went to was speaking on tithing that Sunday. Every single one for like 6 weeks in a row. It was really bizarre. And so at the end of that like 6 weeks, my husband just kind of threw his hands up in the air and he was like, you know what? Screw this. Because, I mean, all that he was hearing was like, blah, 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 give us money, blah, blah, blah. Now, I understand the doctrine of tithing, I think a little bit more than he does. I kind of feel, to me, I look at tithing kind of like a membership fee. If you're going to a church and you're going to be getting a lot out of it, good experiences for you and your family and a lot of fun times and stuff, it's only right that you should be paying something, the money for the electric bills and repairs and building the church and property costs and, all the money that goes into running a church that has to come from somewhere. And so to me, it's only, fitting that the members should be paying something to keep the church going. That might be kind of a very superficial look at tithing, but from that standpoint, like I can see, that tithing, is a good thing. And I do get that there's a deeper spiritual aspect to tithing too. I don't really want to jump into all that in a YouTube video. That's just. At any rate, so my husband comes with me to church on Sunday, and what do you suppose that they give their talks on? The whole time I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, like, yeah, he's not gonna be back, like, ever. It was actually somewhat interesting for me because tithing's actually been something that's kind of been on my mind a lot lately. So it was interesting for me to hear the talks, but, I'm looking at him and he's just like, unfortunately, we have this one lady that gives one of the talks, and she's like extremely solemn and very like monotone and serious, like, you know, and she starts talking about this weird thing about like the second coming and how like people are gonna be burned at the second coming. I have no clue like what this is about. I'm really confused. I haven't heard this before. And she's saying that like people who don't tithe are gonna be burned, like physically burned at the second coming as some like punishment or so. I don't know. It was really weird. And I had no clue. I looked at my husband and I was like, I don't know what she's talking about. Like, where is this coming from? I don't get it. And that just made the whole thing worse. You know what I mean? Like, here I am hoping, like, having him, in the LDS church maybe is, gonna kind of move away a little from, like, the whole, like, fire and brimstone idea. And then, we have, this talk where she's saying this, like, in, the first time that I bring him to the church. And it's made me kind of start to think a little that I need to back off from pressuring him to go to church and just kind of accept that, this is something for me, this is something that the kids like, but it may just, not be something that he's ever going to get into. But that's life, isn't it? That's like the irony of life that would happen. So, oh well, what are you gonna do?